Okay, a few minutes late, but we are live. All right, welcome everyone to Masculine Geek number 108. This is the canceled live stream D&D game. So we were originally scheduled to play. There's been some scheduling issues, so we're going to possibly play tomorrow. We'll see. I'm waiting to hear back from some people. So, having said that, we're going to keep this a short broadcast tonight. We're going to all turn in early. And you get TJ and I today. So TJ, take it away. You have some geek intel today.
I do. So for a couple of years, I've been big into doing traditional shaving. I had a safety razor, my great-grandfather's, but I gave it to one of my relatives because he doesn't have as much of my great-grandfather's stuff as me. So I started donating that, but I really liked it. So I got my own safety razor. Then I got a cutthroat razor, which is where there's no... It's like the old-fashioned barbershop, shaving stuff, but it's the newer version where you change the blade. It's a disposable blade, so you change it out every single time. And that makes it easy because then you don't have to sharpen the blade and you don't have to buy the leather for it. Well, I finally decided I wanted to go old-fashioned even more, and I got one of Bullrush's cutthroat razors that he designed himself, this part here. And so I need to order
scales.
I needed to order the leather for it, and so I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be cool. This is kind of something that you can keep as a family heirloom or something like that.
Absolutely, one shot D&D. They did make those a DM modules for a DM and one player. That's how Rob.
That's like. Oh my God!
Already devolved.
What do they expect with Nick?
Exactly. Let's bring
another
Nick into the fold.
Okay.
Keep going.
I'll do another geek. Yeah. So, on my grandmother's maternal side, I can trace my lineage all the way back to the 1630s in America, and one of the family legends is that this is something that they brought over with them, and it looks a lot cleaner. It looks a lot cleaner now than it did before, but that's because I went through an entire bottle of Brasso and probably 10 whole rolls of paper towels just cleaning this thing off. You would be shocked. You would be shocked at how much crap you can get off of this thing, and I still got some work to do on it. So I can definitely see how it would be 400 years old. And the story in the family is that my great-grandmother got it from her mother. She thought it was ugly, which makes sense because no one cleaned it probably. And then she just put it away and gave it to my grandmother. And so when I was a kid, I saw it and was really fascinated with family history. So I said I wanted it. And that's what happened. So
cool. Very cool. Thanks, Bacon, for the 223 super chat. Now, that's a teapot, right?
It is a pewter pitcher. So this is something that I don't know traditionally what you would put into it. You might put coffee or water or something like that. I guess you could put water, but my guess is this is something you would serve coffee in.
Gotcha.
Hey, Nick, what's going on?
It's pretty cool nonetheless. Were you looking for something? And you're freezing out. You should go back to that hotel. Yeah, really good reception at that hotel. Nick looks concerned. All right, there we go. Your video is freezing up.
He reminds me of James Earl Jones from The Sandlot. He's playing this old retired
looking around.
Blind baseball player. Oh, he's got the glasses on, and so
that's funny. No, whatever you're doing over there is not working. Right, Mictibus? You got that he's got a bunch of those bitcoins, as Rob would say. That's for you, Mictibus, apparently. So what's up? You have some geek intel there, Nick? You got some? What the fuck? Yeah, he's having some problems. Apparently, it's the cryptocurrency castle that is Nick's place is not up to par. So that's okay. He can come back when he gets his shit taken care of. So that's cool. Now, have you you just got that razor today?
Yes, I just got it today.
Okay, gotcha.
I actually
Did you get
don't
the
really
special shaving cream and everything?
No, I haven't. And the thing is, though, I actually traditionally or typically do not shave um, with a straight razor unless I've got a bit of a beard. But also, the easiest time to do it is when I'm done with a workout, or I've been exercising, or it's on a really hot day, or I've just gone hiking, because the pores are opened up, the skin's soft, the beard's softened, and so I mean, taking a really sharp cutthroat razor and going over the beard, it's like cutting through butter, and you're less likely to cut yourself. The other reason is because I'd say one of the biggest issues I can have, or men can have, is that when you shave, you scrape a lot of oil off, natural oils off your skin, so you need to replenish those. The other thing you gotta do is after you're done shaving, you gotta like get the skin cold so that the pores close. Because if you don't, you can get skin infections and other kind of issues like that. So you just got to be careful with that. But when I use a beard trimmer, for example, I'm not opening up. I'm not risking the skin infection as much. So it's just it's a lot of preparation, but it's fun and it's cool.
Yeah, it's we were talking about that before with Bull Rush on the Zoom call many moons ago in regard to using a straight razor to shave, and the fact that there's a ritual behind it. You take your time. It's slow. It's relaxing. Yeah. You listen to a podcast, have some music, have your drink nearby if you want. Have your girl shave you.
Well, that's kind of the it'd be kind of one of the that's like like if I was dating a girl, but like, seriously, that's one of the questions I'd ask her is like, do you want to learn how to shave, like with a cutthroat razor? And if she says yes, then that's a good sign. I'm not expecting every girl that I date, or a girl, like, it's not like a deal breaker, but if she's adventurous enough for it, it's always just make sure she does it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also make sure she's in a good mood when she's doing it, right?
Yeah, seriously. Trust your throat to just anybody. Thank you for the $2 super chat, David. If James was here, he would read the super chats in his ultra cool voice.
17-year-old here checking out the channel.
There you go. All right, it's a good plan. It's a good plan B.
Plan B, it works.
Exactly. Yes, apparently, Bacon. Nick has inherited your network issues. Apparently, it's contagious. Wherever he is down south in his hidden fortress, he's experiencing some issues. Aaron Clary sent you. Cool. Welcome aboard. So Aaron's worth something then. He's sending some people this way. No, it's cool. Thank you for joining us. This was, like I said, like you see in the banner, it's a canceled live stream D&D game. We're going to reschedule, hopefully for tomorrow night. If not, we'll get it up sometime soon. That didn't sound right, but yeah, we're going to get the game running soon. So yeah, it's just a matter of scheduling. When there's more players, it's more difficult. But if there are some cancellations, you can still play the game without a few players. If you have less players to herd, scheduling is easier, but if someone drops out, it's more difficult to run the game. So it's a bit of a balancing act.
Right.
Yeah. So. Aww. You know who doesn't have a bad connection? Who doesn't have a bad connection, Amos? Is that your way of saying you want to be invited on the show? Probably. That's Amos's way. You're lucky I like you. Is Rob ever coming back to D&D? Rob, maybe. He doesn't. Okay, well, screw you then, Amos. Ha ha. No, that's cool. Rob doesn't really like Dungeons and Dragons. He decided. Well, here's speaking of not liking people. He decided he wanted to give Drew's DMing a shot, and then Rollins a shot. And he's like, okay, I've experienced both DMs and run in both games, and that's enough for me, and that's fine. Getting people together for D&D is like herding cats. That is true, Red. Especially around, it's a little easier when you're doing it this way, but even so, it's more difficult when you're trying to get everyone around a table. Right. You have to, like an old former friend of mine used to say, you make time for the things that you want to do. So if you want to play, you'll show up. If you don't, then you're not, and you're not going to make time. So
do we want to chat, or do we want to mention what you and I've got in the works, or is that still T17 classified?
All right, we can talk about it. All right. We'll probably wind up broadcasting it anyway. So,
but yeah, we got to make everyone else feel envious.
Exactly. So, if you want to go ahead and lead off, please, and I'll jump in when the occasion arises.
All right. So Vince and I are interested in playing this. We've been interested in wargaming stuff, like Peter Cushing from all those Dracula movies. Who, by the way, I've been watching some of that stuff. That guy's pretty awesome in some of his movies. He was really big into wargaming, and what that was is he would paint his own soldier figurines, and then he would arrange them on a floor, and there was a whole set of rules that you would play by. And this was a full grown ass man. He wasn't a little, basement dwelling, unemployed NEET or something like that. This was a well accomplished gentleman. And so Vince and I have been talking about doing some of that kind of stuff. So what we're looking at is a version called Blood Red Skies game, and this is where it's done with like airplanes instead, but it's still the same concept. So we need to get the pieces, need to get the whole set together, and then our plan is to meet up somewhere physically and actually play the game. And we're hoping to have it at a location where we can actually meet up with a couple of people that we're friends with, or just I think that this is where a lot of things are going, where meeting people in person in physical locations is meeting people online, and that getting to know people online and then meeting them in person is kind of where it's got to go.
Yeah.
At least for now, I don't see that necessarily changing for the time being. Like the whole digital remote thing, it's a substitute, and it's a functioning substitute, but it's not a viable replacement in my opinion. And I think that one of the things I like about that is my hope is that it inspires other people to do the same thing with friends that they meet online.
Exactly. So yeah, we have to assemble the playing pieces. Whoa. I think it's you, TJ, rattling. It's pretty loud, too.
Sorry. Is it better?
No, you're still bag of bones over there. There we go. Whatever you did worked.
Okay, so I turned it off, and then 5 seconds later, you guys said it was fine. So, yeah. Anyways.
Thank you, Snapper Tracks. All right, I'm assuming that's what your name comes out to be phonetically. Snapper Tracks. Yeah. Thank you. The dildo. Apparently, Red's calling you out on your dildo.
No, those are the ones that Aaron stashed away at my house, and I still haven't found them.
They just show up like random Easter eggs. Easter egg dildos set by Aaron. God. Jesus Christ.
You also have to remember that Red sometimes cops a real attitude, though. You gotta keep it.
We do. Don't make me time you out, Red.
1 second, I'm gonna get a refill.
All right. Yeah. So how's everything going, Nick? Everything all right in your land?
It's going well. What is tonight? Looks like a Sandlot pickup game. Masculine Geek.
Pretty much, yeah, and that's fine. The show must go on.
That's right.
Like I said, we had to originally schedule the game, but no big deal. Shit comes up, I get it, and then we'll forge ahead. So we're gonna keep it short, probably around the hour mark, and Oh, look, it's a speckled blue one this time. That's kind of detailed there, Red. I don't know what's going on over there. Yeah.
The odd
He
speckled
has
in.
an unusually large amount of knowledge about dildos.
Apparently, it's a little disconcerting.
One you wouldn't expect from a heterosexual man.
Exactly. They're art pieces.
They're sculptures.
They're sculptures. They're sculptures and art pieces.
Yeah.
So TJ, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking an old fashioned, so I've got the I don't know what the chairs are called. I need to look it up again. But
Oh, you got
I'm
the maraschino
I'm having a
cherries
drink. I think Nick would appreciate it. The whiskey is a bourbon called Rebel Yell, and it's like
Oh,
from
nice.
it's from an old 1850 recipe or something like that. And then I got some bitters, and they were really expensive bitters. They were like, it was $20 for a little tiny bottle. So I've been
Nice.
having some of that. So it's yeah.
TJ, you want to read that?
The Snapper
Snapper tracks?
So-
Yeah.
like James would.
Yeah, go ahead. Have at it.
You all strictly D&D, or have you played any other systems? I played a lot of Palladium back in the day. TMNT, Rifts, etc.
So yeah, TMNT is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I have played TMNT. I've played Robotech Palladium, the Robotech by Palladium. I did Shadowrun First Edition. Let's see what else. Basic D&D. Most of the D&D iterations except for 3 and 3.5, they were complete shit. What else? Star Frontiers. In fact, I've showed this off numerous times, but this is my original Star Frontiers box, which is basically, this is 83, 85. This is essentially D&D in space. So this is really cool. We'll eventually have Rollo or Drew run one of these games for us. Have a couple Star Frontiers campaigns. They're very, very enjoyable. Oh, Atham showed up in the house.
Atham.
How are you, Atham?
Yes, Red Crusader.
I think that's the accusation.
You know, I was on Troy Francis's show this morning, and he mentioned that he'd been on here before and spoke very fondly of Masculine Geek. So.
Oh, did he? Okay, cool. Yeah, Troy was on last year, probably. I'd like to have him on again because he, at the time, this is probably a little before the pandemic bullshit, but he talked about getting ready to go to Germany and he was going to delve into some fiction writing. So
yeah,
So speaking of fiction, I just finished the plot outline for my next novel that I want to do, which was, it's not anything like The Mandalorian, but it was inspired by watching it because people had spoken so well of this TV show, this miniseries, miniseries. And I was curious to see it. So I watched it and I finally figured out why it was such a successful Star Wars story. And it's because they took a separate genre and they put it into the Star Wars universe. So they used the Western motif and they put it in Star Wars. And the Mandalorian is essentially the man with no name. He's not exactly like it, but the archetype is the same. So I thought, okay, well, if you're going to do a Star Wars, like if you're going to do another Star Wars miniseries, you would do one that's set in Coruscant, which is the city is over the entire planet. So it's like the ultimate metropolis urban area. And you use the film noir motif. And then you have kind of like something like a Humphrey Bogart character. So I was like, that would be a great pitch to Disney, except Disney's all cucked, as we've seen over the last week or two. So I decided I'm going to write my own novel. Here comes the freaking train.
There are no breaks on this train. We've come to expect it. We count on it on our Wednesday nights.
Yeah, we count. Yeah, exactly. And so I ended up just having to cut out all the Star Wars stuff and put in my own world that's going to be very minimal, as I've done with some other books, because I don't want to really have it distract from the actual story. So I'm actually pretty pleased with the way that it came out, because it's so hard to incorporate a lot of this stuff and tell a story that's actually original without it being overly cliche. You obviously pay homage to other stuff that inspired it. And you can use the archetypes, but you also have to add a little bit of different flavor and nuance to the characters, so that way they seem fresh and original instead of feeling very stale, like they're copying someone else.
Correct.
Nice. Yeah.
Atham with the jokes.
Speaking of, Troy's actually got a story coming out in the new Punch Riot issue.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's
cool. Now you're dropping at the end of the week, right?
I'm dropping it later tonight.
Oh yeah. Well, that we're not talking about your deuce.
Neither was I, Vince.
Yeah, you were.
Oh yeah, end of the week.
Okay, that's good. I'll have by the end of Friday evening, I'll have chapter 5 of Laser Dicks to you. So yeah, Laser Dicks.
Drat.
Yeah. See,
Drat. Yeah, I gotta add. Don't worry. That's making an appearance.
Vince and I have been exchanging a lot of messages recently about my latest foray into online dating. I read Aaron Clary's book. Those of you who subscribe to the newsletter, I wrote a little short post about how I read Aaron Clary's very depressing and cynical book about dating, and my response to that was, I think I need to do more dating.
I need to find this out for myself. Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's just like it's kind of like God. What I was thinking about today. This whole idea of that if you're not playing the game, you lose. Kind of like that movie No Country for Old Men, where the hitman would like toss the coin and you had to call the coin, and if you didn't, he would shoot you. So the only way to live was to like take a guess at the game or which side it was on. And I was thinking about that, where I was like, you gotta just go out and at least try or something like that. And what's funny is that my experience has been far more positive so far than what a lot of people I talk, not just Aaron. I mean, Aaron, I always say, like, I assume his cynicism is like on the other side of the bell curve. But then I hear from other people as well. And then I'm looking at it, it's like, I don't know. I think people need to be a little bit more, set their expectations accordingly. I mean, do they expect to find Cinderella or Snow White on dating apps? Because I don't. Not that that's a bad thing. It's just like, I like what I feel like some of these guys have unrealistic expectations of what they expect to find on a dating app.
They expect it to be like an instant platter kind of thing. Like, I think.
Well,
in all cases.
Yeah. Yeah, they expect like some, 9 to like show up at their doorstep and make them a meal.
It's not Uber Eats. It's as much as you'd like it to be. That's not how that works.
It's not Snow White. It's Ho White.
There you go. Oh.
Nice. I mean, the thing is, what's funny is that a lot of the stuff that I see kind of confirms a lot of what I've read with like Rollo's latest book or with a lot of with Aaron's book. But I think at the same time, it's like if you can avoid them and they'll also avoid you. Like I'm not saying if you're the right guy, but if you convey the right type of demeanor, or you I don't even know what the word to use on online dating, because I'm usually used to meeting people in person, like girls in person, and like you can immediately tell whether you've got a good resonance or something like that. But with online dating, you have to be very witty. As a writer, it helps because you get to be witty with your words. The problem is that a lot of times I'm like, I don't know my audience. With a book, you write a book, you know who your audience is, or at least who your intended audience is. With a lot of these, like I want to respond to their messages or say something that's like, I don't know who this person is, and I have no idea how they're going to interpret this message. So
yeah, but assume that they're going to interpret it like, have your expectations low,
right?
But also don't give a fuck about it. It doesn't matter.
I think my favorite. I'll tell this story. Vince thought it was pretty funny. So there was this one chick who had a photo that said like, guess where this photo was taken, and it obviously was like in some Italian city, and I said in your living room with a Zoom background,
and a green screen,
and a green screen, and she responded, "LOL, no, it was in this one place when I was studying abroad." And I said,
"Yeah, you got." The thing is, that you got her to respond. Exactly. That's the goal. Yeah.
And so I respond. I couldn't resist. I knew it was probably not going to be interpreted well, but I couldn't resist. I said, I studied abroad once too, but we were both in Washington. But it was still an educational experience.
Nice.
She obviously didn't respond.
That's okay, but that's the kind of playful banner you want, whether you're on a dating app or you're out and about.
Well, the kind of girl that I'd want to hang out with would have just found it pretty funny. She would have like found it as playful banter, and or something like that. My whole thing is that I gotta be able to do the kind of back and forth that you would see in like kind of some of those old films like Casablanca or something like that, where you can kind of have this back and forth instead of like pulling teeth, or you have to be literal. I think that's the problem with some girls today, is you have to be literal with them. They're almost like that one guy from Guardians of the Galaxy, where metaphors go completely over
nothing goes over my head. Yeah,
my reflexes are too fast. I would catch it.
Too fast. I would catch it.
I mean, if they have to be that literal, you're better off just confusing them and then letting them go to somebody else, because you're
release them into the wild. Yes, there you go. Go fuck somebody up.
When I was doing the online thing, I used my opener was usually, if there wasn't anything interesting in their profile that I could use, it was usually something like, "Hey, what's your best winter road trip? A tour of haunted hospitals, or a trip to the beach when it's cold but there's a fireplace?" And so then you're giving them both the woo-woo on the one side and the romantic thing on the other, without necessarily committing to anything. And they're usually that, and you can, that if they say, "Oh yeah, I want to do the the haunted hospitals thing," you're like, "Well, aren't you afraid of insane ghosts or something?" And so there's plenty there for a conversation if everybody's on board.
There's a lot of fodder, yeah, and that's the thing I was telling TJ. You give a girl a challenge and a question that's somewhat interesting to her based on what she puts in her photos and whatnot, then yeah, you'll get a response back. No, it's up to you to obviously wittily repartee back.
Yeah. I think that the key for a man, and we could, we're planning to have a discussion about this on the Masculine Geek Zoom, but Vince and I have the same attitude towards this stuff. Like, just have fun, don't take it too seriously, and don't be like, I don't know. I feel like some guys perhaps who are the loudest voices are those who are the most, I don't want to use the word bitter, but they had too high of expectations, and when they didn't get met, they just they blew a fuse or something like that. I don't know. I'm having fun. I'm having fun so far.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Now the question is, and this has been on. I know this has been on everyone's mind. Is Nick blind? I think he is. I think he has a service dog, a seeing eye dog underneath the desk.
Yeah. And
this man can't see shit.
I have a seeing eye chick under the desk.
He's got a seeing eye chick on a leash. He's got a service chick. And as well you should, sir. As well you should.
One second. Get a refill.
I wear the sunglasses because for whatever reason, because of the distance from my monitor, the glare, the light, everything, it kind of messes my eyes up. And when I'm doing this, and so because most of my glasses are bifocals.
Gotcha.
And these sunglasses are not bifocals. So even though they don't help that much with up close, they still keep my eyes from doing all that weird stuff. And then I spend an hour on a live stream, doing weird stuff with my eyes because they're uncomfortable and I look like I'm having a seizure or something. So this helps.
Gotcha.
Yeah, McTubus. Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
explain the missing story endings in Punch Right. You're never going to live that one down, are you?
well, I've done it 5 times, but only to Charlie Winkle. So, like,
Gotcha.
Charlie Winkle is the only person I constantly cut off his endings, and the reason why, and I'm going to go ahead and let this one out of the bag, is that just only because he and everybody else has given me so much shit about it is that Winkle always revises his story. Okay. And so he'll send me a version, and then a few days later he'll send me an updated version, and then inevitably a day before I go to publish the thing, he sends me another updated version, which is fine and I don't care. But what happens is he doesn't send them as an attached document. He sends them in the body of the Gmail. And so Gmail truncates any message that's longer than so many words. And what ends up happening is he sends me the most recent version. I just copy and paste it over into the Punch Riot layout. And inevitably, I miss those 3 dots down there. I have to click on to get the rest of it. And because I'm not paying attention at that point,
the dots are where I say they are.
The dots are where
I say they are. You're a tunesmith.
And so then, hell, it's a PDF. It's a 5-minute update. So I'm busting my balls, you
sons of bitches.
Dirty stomp arounds. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, you dreaded stomp arounds, you. So what are you drinking, Nick? Agua Fria?
Agua Fria, buddy.
Nice. I like it.
I've got to save my drinking for Let 'Em Burn tomorrow night.
Okay. Who are you having on tomorrow? Or anyone
at all? We're having Troy on Let 'Em Burn tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we got to get him back on Masculine Geek to talk about his fiction.
Troy's an interesting guy. We're going to have him on Let 'Em Burn, and then next week, after the new issue of Punch Riot drops, I'm going to do a podcast with just he and I, where all we do is talk about writing and his writing and what he's trying to do with his fiction, because he's really good at writing these. They're almost like character studies. So he'll write these short stories, and it's mostly, everything's through the mind. The narration is all through the mind of this one character who's a little bit off, and you kind of go on that ride with him, and he's really good at doing that. So
cool. I look for. Is that going to be one of the stories in Punch Riot, something like that?
Yeah, that's what's coming up in the next issue number 2 for this year. All right.
Cool. I look forward to reading that then. Nice. TJ, have you sent anything to Punch? You sent something to Punch, right? Haven't you?
Yeah, I sent something that was a follow-up to my essay on chivalry, and it had to do with after watching The Mandalorian. Since I'm gonna bring it up again, and it had to do with the idea of having codes, a male code. Yeah. And so I'm not sure if that's going to be running in this issue, but I think that it's been okay. Awesome. It's been interesting to look at that and try to honestly, we have to really strip back a lot of what we think was and wasn't over the years, and try. The world we live in now is a lot of things have not changed. I'm not going to argue that, and a lot of guys would argue that things haven't really changed, but in a lot of ways things have really changed, in the sense that I don't want to give away too much of the essay, but the idea is that in say 1,000 years ago, a man's loyalty was to a very small group of people, and it was an explicit explicitly understood, I owe loyalty to you, you owe loyalty to me, but I don't owe loyalty to a guy 1,000 miles away who I've never met. I don't speak his language, not a culture, whatever. Hell, they might not even have loyalty to someone who speaks the same language, part of the same culture, part of the same country. But I don't owe loyalty to this baron over there. He's not, whatever. Things were much more decentralized than they are today in that sense. But also, these were things that were entered into in a lot of ways voluntarily, unless you were a villain who couldn't leave his land. You were tied to the land. It was a voluntary agreement, whereas today men are expected to be part of moral codes without being asked or being given the choice. It's like it's forced on you. So I looked at the show Mandalorian and some of the stuff in that, and if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you watch it. Try to watch it in a way that you don't have to end up paying for it, because don't give money to the devil mouse. So
Yeah.
Indeed. Cool. I look forward to
Yeah,
reading
well,
that as well.
I had TJ's essay queued up for issue 1, and then but I was concerned I wasn't going to have enough for issue number 2, because everybody was sending me stuff for issue 1, and I don't always, sometimes when I get a lot, then the next month I get very little. So I ended up holding it out to the side to make sure I had enough content for this month's issue. But
Gotcha.
yeah, it's not this month.
Cool. I like it. Look forward to it. Is that going to be the main schedule now at the end of the month for each issue?
Yeah, I'm doing right now. I'm doing 1 issue a month. After I once we started working on Punch Riot Theater, I didn't have time to do 2 issues a month plus try to work on scripts and stuff for Punch Riot Theater. So I'm just doing one longer issue a month for the magazine this year, and yeah, it's going to come out last day of the month, first day of the month, somewhere in that area.
Okay, cool. That's good too.
Yeah,
and that's essentially this weekend, basically. I think March 1st is Monday.
Yeah. So if
Nice.
if I could just get all of my contributions before this.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
I'd be able to get it out earlier,
Yeah.
but how it goes.
Yeah. You'll have mine by the end of Friday. Don't worry.
These writers.
We're a bunch of bastards.
These writers are. There's also, I think we have something new coming out this year as well, because I'm talking to a couple of different artists, and I want to do a one of those special topics issue is going to be a comic book issue, but it's not going to necessarily be just one story. It's going to be a bunch of different comics in one issue. So.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah. So I'm looking to do that this year as well.
Gotcha. Mid-year or the end of the year, you think?
I would like it to be over the summer. And I think, originally I was going to do these special issues once a quarter, but I'm not getting enough contributions for that. So I think I'm going to start scale back a little bit smaller and do a special summer issue every year. And then if I start getting more people contributing to those things, then I may do them more often.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
I look forward to any project that gets released. That's going to be pretty cool. Sweet.
Ah.
No, TJ, the book that you were just talking about, have you refresh my memory? You started that or you finished that?
What I did is I was writing the outline for it, because one of the things I'm very not finicky. I'm very particular about now is getting the outline out right. Because if you get the outline and the story structure right, there's 2 different issues that can affect a book. The first one is the actual writing style or the prose. The other one is the actual story itself. A good story can survive bad writing, and you can just rewrite the parts that you need to rewrite so it's better. But a well-written story cannot survive a bad plot. Like, you have to make sure that stuff it works well. So I really want it to be, and that way it just makes it easier to write, because I know where it's going. And it's going to be an interesting combination of like The Mandalorian, Star Wars, and Casablanca. Vince froze. Oh, you're back.
I'm here.
So, well, depending on what happens in the next couple of weeks, I got some other stuff going on, but if that doesn't pan out, I'm going to start writing and working on that, and we'll see what happens.
Nice.
Happens in the next couple of weeks. I got some other.
What the hell?
What was that?
Oh no! Some of Nick's machine's going nuts.
No, not mine.
Wasn't mine. Wow, that's some weird shit. See if it comes back. Nope. I think this
Ghost machine.
this broadcast. I was gonna say this broadcast is haunted.
The haunted
Village by the Asylum. Jesus.
Speaking of which, how did Gettysburg go?
Gettysburg was very good. It was quite fun. It was cold as fuck at night, but we had some snow on the ground, and Amos tripped and bashed his nipple apart.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, he was climbing on Devil's. We were up on Devil's Den, and the best part was his reaction. Ouch. And that was it. Just kind of deadpanned. It was great. But
understated.
Yeah, exactly. It worked out nicely. But Mictobus came out because he doesn't live too far away. Mictobus came out, and Red Namus drove cross country. So that was cool. And then on the way,
Red came from Ohio. Where did Amos come from?
He's out near Aaron, and was it?
No, Aaron moved to South Dakota.
Oh yeah, his old location. I can never remember. Yeah. Nobody cares. He's out in Minnesota.
We could. It'd be a nice house. Now, is his house built? Has it been finished?
I don't know.
Well, he moved.
All I know is he was trying to hit us up for helping him with his shows, because I'm driving across South Dakota and I'm dealing with banks and car registration and whatever. Aaron, we're not pay us, Aaron, pay us.
There you go.
Well, no, I'm just wondering. I'm just thinking like it would be fun. It would be fun and funny to do the tabletop game stuff in his neighborhood, like where he's at. As like a
absolutely.
House breaking. Yeah.
Absolutely. The only problem with that is you can't have Aaron play. he can host us. He is just too like, what's the itinerary? Is this game over yet? No, I'm not dealing with that shit. No. If he wants to host us and his wife can make us cookies, I have no problem with that whatsoever. That's totally fine.
He said he was going to. He asked me for my email address so he could send me his book so I could review it, and then I never got the book. So
here's what happens.
I sense a lack of reliability here.
Well, no. He's very reliable if he remembers what the fuck he said to you. That's the problem.
Well, I've got the same problem, so I can understand.
Yeah, but you know what? You actually probably write shit down and have calendars, and you're like you're disciplined enough to say, I don't remember shit. So here's
I'm gonna be fair for once towards Aaron. If I had to deal with the number of clients as part of his consulting, I would probably forget stuff too. I can only imagine.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want. You know what? No, he brought that on himself. No one held the gun to his head and said, "Do an asshole consulting, motherfucker."
Well, what he needs to do is start charging like $100 per thing instead of doing this cheap stuff, and that way you can do a quarter of the amount of work, but you get just as much money, and then you can go golfing and nap for 5 hours instead of 4, then drink all the rum.
Hey, if anybody out there listening tonight wants the same experience, you can send me $50 instead of sending Aaron 100, and I'll just tell you you're stupid. I will humiliate you for less money, guaranteed.
There you go.
Send me $100, and I'll do a minimalism course for you. Don't buy it. Don't buy it.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. Jesus Christ.
Don't buy it. Just don't do it.
Don't do it. Amos, okay. Do you want to tell the damaged nipple story?
It is not damaged. I would show you, but I'm not going to get the stream shut off.
We'll immediately get shut down.
Only Modern Life Dating John can show his nipples, but we don't want to see that either.
Not really.
Not really. No.
It didn't. There was no damage done to the nipple. It was just fine. It hurt for a day or two, but that was it. You talk like my nipple like exploded on impact.
Yeah. No. The funniest part was your reaction to it. You just looked down, you're like, "Ow."
Well, I had fallen maybe a couple seconds before you guys turned around and saw me, and then I just looked up and went, "Ow."
Okay, gotcha.
See, I gotta present myself as a human being, so you guys don't suspect. I'm maybe not.
No, we know you're a human being. You're a good lad. It was a good trip. Everybody had fun.
Yeah.
Rah.
Wow.
All right, you're done. I'm gonna kick you out. No, I'm kidding. You're done. Well, we are going to wrap up in about 10 minutes. But you've got 10 minutes if you want to share an anecdote, any music anecdote or story, or how you're doing. What are you up to?
No more male nipples, though. I don't want to hear any more about.
Yeah, no more nipple stories.
So non-nipple stories. Let's see. I gotta think about it for a bit. No, there's not much going on. It's a day off for me today, since I have days off now in the middle of the week. Doing, I don't know, I did some writing today.
Oh, nice.
A little bit. So I'm kind of like, I'm still working on trying to come up with that submission for Nick. So
Gotcha.
We'll see how that turns out. I'm not going to tell him. I know I told you, Vince, kind of a little bit about it.
You did, yeah.
But
I'm
we'll
not
see how it turns out.
nipple story, dude. I'm just gonna tell you.
I'm just telling you right now.
It's gonna have to be a damn.
It's called nipple discs. No.
Nipple dicks. Okay.
Nipple dicks. Laser nipples.
Laser nipples. Don't steal my thunder. That's funny. Oh, you guys were. Has Vince and TJ brought crypto yet? Yes, John. I've had crypto for quite some time now, and
I have not.
You better get on it, TJ. I am doing quite well, thank you. Yes.
I had some interesting motor vehicular experiences this weekend, so I had to buy a new vehicle today. I actually bought it just today.
Oh, your truck died?
No, the Mercury Mariner, the Millennium Falcon. It had an interesting experience. That's for another podcast episode.
Okay,
One
well, you can always
exploded.
Exactly. It's you blew a nipple. Nice.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So you got a new vehicle. Okay. What if you don't mind me asking, what did you get?
It's so the Ford Escape is literally almost exactly the same as the Mercury Mariner. The Mercury Mariner was just, they took the same design and just slapped a different name on it. So I actually, when I was having to drag everything out of the car, I took out like these floor mats or protective mats that are worth hundreds of dollars. So they fit perfectly with the new car.
Oh, nice.
So yeah.
You bought a car around whether or not the mats would fit?
Well, no. I was looking for the same model car. I wanted an SUV with a 4-wheel drive, but I also had a specific asking price. And so the only one that met that was the Ford Escape, which is the exact same model as, for the most part, is the Mercury Mariner. And so, which, by the way, that was an interesting story how I managed to talk them down in the price range. So I told them, I called them up and just said, after I figured out everything that was wrong with the car, I called them up and said, here's how much I'm willing to pay for it. And they thought somehow there was a miscommunication within their higher ups, but they thought that I had asked for a lower price and they accepted the lower price. So I go to pay for it. I go to pay for it and they're like, oh, here's the total. I was like, what? I'm quietly like, okay, here's the money.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like,
you guys drive a bargain.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what the funny thing is they were going to auction it off today. So they were getting bids from these different places. And I think and trust me, I lowered the asking price by like 35% or whatever, like a significant amount. Were immediately like, yes, we'll take it, because I don't think anybody was trying to buy it through auction was interested in paying that much for it. But what I did is I called up a mechanic in my area that I know who works. He's his own man. He works for himself. And I said, how much is it going to do for these repairs? And he said, he gave me a figure. So I chucked the price down by that much. Well, then I got a phone call from him today saying that the repairs were going to cost like half of what he originally estimated, because just it wasn't nearly as bad as what he thought. So, I saved a considerable amount of money, not by switching to Geico, but by just doing some homework.
It's
2021. It's a 2008. and yes, I know. Yes, I know all the problems with these vehicles.
What's your name? What's the name of the president? What year is it?
Yeah. No,
it's the VIN number.
Yeah. God. Well, I'm not gonna say anything. Never mind. I'm gonna hold my breath on that one. No, I know these vehicles. I know that their strengths and weaknesses. So like, I'd rather deal with the devil that I know than the devil that I don't. Because when there's problems there's certain common problems with the Ford Escape of that year. So like, I know how to deal with it.
Gotcha.
And also the mechanic I know, he does everything. Like when he says it's going to cost this much, it's literally going to cost that much. And he does. So I'll give an example. Other mechanics said there was this repair job for the oil leak. They're like, it cost you $1,500. He did it for $320.
Nice.
So like, this is the advantage of knowing people.
That's a jewel among hobbits.
Yeah. Yes.
That's good. Hold on to that mechanic shit. That's really good.
Dude, I send all my business goes his way, and I tell everybody to go do business with him. Like you need people like that who are like honest mechanics.
Yeah. Absolutely. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we are coming up, as promised. We are coming up on the hour mark. We got about less than 4 minutes. TJ's going to rattle his way out of the broadcast.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, right. So let's do a little housekeeping here. Any big projects people are working on, feel free to shill them. So TJ, let's start with you. Where can everyone find you, and what's next up in the pipeline other than what you just talked about with that little novel you're working on? Right.
So you can go to tjmartinell.com. I do the Mountain Pass podcast. I've been doing that. I'm trying to do that more regularly. God, spit. And then I had a book just come out through Terror House Press. That's The Pilgrim's Digress. If you haven't gotten a copy, I recommend you do so. They've got another book. They got another book of mine. If you like The Legend of Zelda, you'll like this book. It's coming out in September. It's called The Legends of Ferenia. And then I just signed another book deal with them for a anti-commie pulp fiction book that's coming out next year. And there's a sequel to that I need to polish up. And I'm trying to think of anything else that's going on. Nice. If anything else inspires, I used to write short stories for Terror House that was dystopian, and then I just gave up because everything that I wanted to write about was already happening. So,
nice.
So it's The Onion.
Yeah, right.
Pretty much.
And Amos, how about yourself?
Well, people are going to find out next week, right?
About the nipple?
Yeah.
About the nipple. No.
Exactly. No. We don't have to say it. We don't have to say it.
No, it's fine. I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Yeah. What are you getting a sex? Are you getting a sex change or something?
He already had
reconstruction surgery.
He already had it. Yeah.
Go to my GoFundMe, guys.
That's why the nipple was hurting. So. That's why he was overly concerned about the nipple exploding. No. So we talked about that. So Masculine Geek is going down to so twice a month when people don't cancel and we have to reschedule, but twice a month we'll be doing Dungeons and Dragons or another role-playing game live. Another Wednesday in that month will be this kind of interaction. The final Wednesday of that month will be a guest, but the guest will not be live. It will be recorded It'll be about an hour and a half. Something new we're trying. We're going to see what happens with it. Not a huge deal, but our guinea pigs, our test subjects, were the gentleman from the 10K Rum podcast, Amos, who you see right here now in all his glory, and his business partner and friend, Brooke. So there you go. They're going to be on next week, but not live, recorded. So you have to check that out.
Blast from the past.
Exactly. So we'll be talking to you from the past. So you'll be getting the next week, but so anyway. So yes, Brooke makes the show. Not makes it. Well, how are you actually? Yeah, well, hang on. Makes it as in attends, he actually makes it, or makes it like Amos sucks and Brooke is better? That's how I read it. So that's pretty harsh.
Either way, it's
pretty bad.
Not talking about male nipples is a great first start. You know?
it probably is. Yes.
Yeah, you know who brought that up? Mictobus.
Exactly.
He brought it up.
He did. It's all his fault. And last but not least, Mr. Nick August, drinking his Agua Fria. What are you up to?
Tomorrow night on Let 'em Burn with Rob and myself and Bull Rush, Troy Francis is joining. That's 8 o'clock Eastern. On Friday at, I believe, I don't remember the time. It's either 2 or 3 Eastern. I'll let you know. MT White is going to be on the Punch Riot podcast.
Oh, okay.
He'll be reading from his novel and talking about that a little bit. That's something new we're actually doing at the Punch Cast. Is I'm going to start having sort of virtual book readings where folks who have written books can read a couple of interesting passages and just kind of talk about them a little bit, and then maybe take questions on them. So we got that coming up, and then next Tuesday, I'll be having Troy on a Punch Riot podcast again to talk a little bit about what he's doing now with his writing, as opposed to the game stuff and everything else he's been doing for a while. So got a lot coming up.
Cool, excellent,
awesome.
All right, everyone. It is 1 hour and 1 minute, 15, 16, 17 seconds. So we are going to bid you all adieu. So on that note, keep those fires burning. Do not take any wood nickels, and keep that lead flying downrange. TJ, you want to take us out?
Toodles.
Yeah.
Good night, folks.